The wait is over. It's game time. Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada. Everybody come out, show support, and watch me fry this fish.
Finally happening, July 29th, T-Mobile Arena. Gonna put on a great show, a great performance. It's gonna be a one-sided ass whooping.
Okay, let's do it. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. I am happy to announce it is now official. Hey, stop that cat, man down. Versus the Fish Fryer, Terence Crawford. Saturday, July 29th. This will be on Showtime pay-per-view at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, presented by Al Heyman. Thank you, Al Heyman, and Premier Boxing Champs, and Steven Espinoza as well. Amazing fight. What can I say? It's a long-awaited fight. This is the introduction video. I'm going to break down some different things. However, I have a lot to say regarding this fight. Errol Spence has proven a lot of people wrong. I got future videos where I will break that down. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Now, I'm the best in the business, but you already know that. Spence versus Crawford, long anticipated, long awaited. The fight will be for undisputed in the welterweight division. This gives you vibes of Hearns Hagler. And I know other fights, because I remember back in the day, Triple G had no guys, had Max's big drama guys, nice punch. You know, they were using the famous Hagler Hearns fight to promote Triple G and David Lemieux, suggesting that that particular fight would be this generation's Hagler Hearns. And it wasn't. It really wasn't even that type of tempo fight. And that's what you get. Sometimes when you got two big punchers like Lemieux, like Triple G, the one who can box better usually reverts to the boxer, and he'll just begin to box better and use a jab. And it could be slight. It could be slightly better fundamentals. I remember John Molina Jr. versus Ruslan Provodnikov. Same kind of deal. Like, just the fact that one person can slightly box better, they're going to do that, you know? But this fight gives me different feels. Everything to this point that Spence has been about, I start that cat. Everything that Terence Crawford has been about has led me to believe that this fight could actually be closest, you know, and I say that with all due respect to the legends like Hagler and Hearns, but it could be this generation's Hagler Hearns or Sugar Ray Leonard when he fought against Tommy Hearns or Hagler. It's that type of fight. It's a historic fight. It's in the 4-belt era in undisputed. I mean, this is something the winner of this fight, Floyd Mayweather, as great as he is, arguably TBE, he can't even say he was completely undisputed in the 4-belt era with every single belt in the welterweight division. So monumental. This fight gives me great vibes and great pleasure to announce. And some people said it's taken a good amount of time, a good chunk of time to happen. And you see how hard sometimes these fights can be, especially when there's different promoters. Now, again, why I got to give Errol Spence a lot of credit, and I'll give you guys a preview, is Errol Spence, every step of the way, has been about what he said he's about. When he says stuff like, I don't need no tune-up, Danny Garcia my tune-up. He fought Danny Garcia right after post-accident. When he said immediately after the Ugas fight, everybody know who I want. I want Terence Crawford. I'm going to come over to take your ish too. Now he's at least having the opportunity. Will he win? You know, we'll find that out on July 29th. But I got to respect any man or woman or adult that is about what they say they're about. The Clarissa Shields of the world, the Floyd Mayweathers of the world, right? The Andre Wards and Errol Spence, like the people who literally say, and Deontay Wilder, he's another person for me that comes to mind. Wilder said he was pursuing, he wasn't satisfied with the draw with Fury. Win, lose, or draw, he actually pursued those fights and even had to take Tyson Fury through a mediation in order to secure the bag and secure the opportunity to go again with Tyson Fury, because he tried to, go a different direction. So I respect that. I respect that Errol Spence, he lets you know what he's about. Errol Spence, he has a clean bill of health. He never did what Terence Crawford did in the way of being in deep negotiations with PBC, Al Heyman, and Errol Spence, and then at the 11th hour saying, hey, I'm fighting David Avocado. Check me out on BOK Prime, Day the Wave of the Future. But now you're doing a 2-fight deal with PBC. So to me, that needs to be explored, and there's more than meets the eye. Because my thing is this: how were you in negotiations last year, right? And it took from, let's say, May or June of last year till about October, and then all for you to say, hey, I'm going to fight, and I'm fighting David Avanesian at home in Omaha. Like, what? Where did that even come from, right? And then we later find out he was in a dual negotiations with BOK Prime, yada, yada, yada. So some people were blaming Errol Spence and PBC. Now, I'm not going to make too much of a deal because we actually got the fight announced yesterday. So it is what it is, but it doesn't change, and I can't just graze over the history. So I got to mention these things. So what was wrong with the negotiations in the first fight? Better yet, the first negotiations that were deep negotiations last year. What went on? What changed that it didn't happen then, but now mysteriously it's happening now? Again, some people want to blame PBC, Al Heyman. Oh, Al Heyman's going to hold this up and Spence don't really want it. But that doesn't make sense, because Spence has maintained everything that he said, like I've said throughout this video, and he literally held out when we know he had other options. So if he truly didn't want to fight Terence Crawford, then he could have moved on, and we know that he could have fought Keith Thurman at the very least. I'm not even going to say, because that's one we know about. So we'll just say Keith Thurman. We know he could have, at the very bare bones minimum, he could have fought Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman let you know that there was a deal, contingent deal in place, but then Errol Spence got in that additional fender bender, which caused some time to elapse. This was in December of last year, 2022. And with that fender bender, when some minor was joyriding, wrecked into his car, he was a bit tight and a bit sore. Being in a previous severe car accident, Errol Spence decided to take some time off. And in doing that, Terence Crawford had a December fight with David Avanesian, and it freed him up because he knocked out Avanesian, and it freed up Terence Crawford, and Crawford was now able to get back in the queue and get in negotiations with Errol Spence and Al Heyman and PBC and Showtime and Steven Espinoza and everybody before Errol Spence had already announced the Keith Thurman fight. But if you listen to Keith Thurman interviews and all the information that was out, that was basically a plan B option in the event that this fight didn't manifest again, but it did. So how can that be PBC and Al Heyman's fault? And people saying Errol Spence don't want it, that doesn't make sense, because if he really didn't want it, he could have fought Keith Thurman, which is a fight I actually like still. I've always wanted to see that fight, right? Of course, it's not going to be the same merit of an undisputed championship fight, but it's a dang good fight. And I will raise you this: Keith Thurman does a better job of promoting than both Errol Spence and definitely Terence Crawford, meaning he has a mouthpiece. He's not afraid to get on camera. He's been on pay-per-view and been able to talk up a fight with Pacquiao. He's articulate, those types of things. He has that charisma. You know, some guys have it, the ability to almost like talk themselves into position or gain favor and have people believe that they have a chance. Like Ryan Garcia did it with Gervonta Davis. That was an easy fight prediction for me, but I'm the best in the business. But I knew Gervonta Davis was on a different planet than Ryan Garcia. And I don't say that disrespectfully. It's just, it is what it is. You guys seen the outcome. But Ryan, credit to him, for his part, he was able to make people believe that he could beat Gervonta Davis. Same thing with Rolly. He was able to do his part as a B-side opponent and make people interested and want to see the Gervonta Davis fight, and they set a record at the Barclay. So Keith Thurman would have been a big fight for Errol Spence. Again, some people would have said, oh, I'm still disappointed because I want to see the Crawford fight, but people would have had to get over it. So the bottom line is Errol Spence, if he wanted to quote unquote weasel his way out of a Crawford fight, he had complete runway, a complete clear path. It's just like when you're flying on a plane, they clear the runway so you can take off. He had the completely clear runway where he could have did that, and he chose to stay in long, arduous negotiations with Crawford until the fight was done. And that's exactly what he said he was going to do. So big up to Errol Spence and PBC and Showtime. Errol Spence is really a man of his word. And again, for me as a fellow man, I can't tell you how to be a woman. I can tell you how to be a man. That's what I am. So I have to respect it as a man. He did what he said he was going to do. And I will say this, just to preview the fight, Errol Spence, being such a man of his word, he put himself in a position of difficulty, or he put himself in a potentially disadvantaged position, Mr. I don't take tune-ups, by going so long in between without an in-betweener tune-up fight. Meanwhile, Crawford just fought in December, so he should be sharp. So Errol Spence gets double credit from me, and old media is not going to tell you this. The Errol Spence haters and PBC haters, they're not going to tell you this. But to me, he gets double credit because you can't win, lose, or draw. You can't say Errol Spence is not about that life. He was so stubborn that he even put himself in a position where he hasn't fought since April or May of last year. And by the time they fight in July, he'll be out of the ring yet again over a year against someone the caliber and the skill level of a Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, I told you, when last year when the negotiations were stretching and going on and they hadn't reached an agreement, I told you when he announced that he was fighting David Avocado or Amnesia or whatever dude's name was, when he said he was going to fight him, I believe that his team wanted a tune-up. They were not going to take an Errol Spence fight where they were in that disadvantaged position and they had been, or their fighter had been out of the ring that long. Because before the David Avanesian fight, Terence Crawford hadn't fought since his last fight with Top Rank, which was in like November against Sean Porter. So Sean Porter was his last fight and he had this long layoff. And by October, right around there is when he announced the David Avanesian fight for December. So he would have been out the ring a year and a month. Errol Spence, again, man of his word, he is eating these layoffs and he's eating this dry spell of inactivity and fighting top level competition. Ugas after the detached retina, Danny Garcia after the horrific car accident that almost claimed his life, and now another year plus layoff, and he's fighting Crawford. And even when he fought Kell Brook, he was on a 9-month layoff. You gotta love it. I'm the best in the business. Subscribe to the channel, and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter. color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We work it.